They'll be calling you a radical. Set your sundial by it. You don't know frustration. Be a Weber State basketball and football fan, which I have my whole life. I've been in that building since the day it opened. I was in the Swenson. Weber State has lost every big game in the history of this school, the Wattis curse. When Utah Construction merged with GE, the money, the nuclear curse built this house. That game last night, how the hell did they lose? Klauke called it a rock fight. That has to be the ugliest basketball game in Big Sky history. And it just shows you how competitive this league is. Northern Arizona playing Montana State in the championship game tonight. Don't kid yourself. NAU could win. They're the 9th seed. You can take the first place team, the last place team. Same in football. And they go out of it. Comes down to making a shot here or there. That's how competitive this league is. That was the ugliest basketball game ever. Weber couldn't throw it in the ocean, and so same old, same old. It's a young team, but so I can go on and on and on. We used to get NCAA tournament games in that house. It's that time of year. I watched Jason Kidd's last game in there. I watched Jason Kidd's last high school game. I used to go to the California State Championship at Arco in SAC. I remember when I tried to talk these guys into recruiting Jeremy Lin. And they wouldn't, and yeah, he won the California State Championship. I was at that game. So Jason Kidd got beat by the Cheeseheads his last game. I watched Valvano cut down the nets here when they upset Ralph Sampson in Virginia in the second round. Saw David Robinson playing here. So many great freaking games in here. Watch Lamar. Billy Tubbs, nobody knew who at Weber State, a home game. A 6 seed. Go down. It's so frustrating. The great Neil McCarthy, Bruce Collins, out. It's unbelievable. Weber State, Damian Lillard had by 23 points in the second half in this house. In the championship game at home. Out, lose. It's gone. How about I was at the game in Florida when they had the great Allen Iverson beat when he was a freshman. Ruben Nemhart missed the front end of a one-on-one, and they threw up a Hail Mary that had no prayer. Airball got tipped in. Fluke from hell. In Seattle. I'll never forget that game. When they beat North Carolina there, but when they had Florida beat. Haslam and Miller were on that team. They had them beat. Noel Jackson misses. He made 2 of the 3. It goes to overtime. How they lost that game is beyond me. They find a way to do it. Again, Lillard up by 23. Lillard never played an NCAA tournament. How about just a few years ago? I was in Slow protesting Diablo Canyon when North Dakota State, Weber was ahead by 7 points with, 40 seconds to go. Couldn't even bounce the ball. Lost. I can go on and on and on and on. Football. How about football? How about that team in 2017? How the hell? Mr. Opeta was blowing holes for Josh Davis. Rashid Shaheed. TJ for the Bills. How the hell they lost that game? They should. It blows my mind they lost that game. The game at the Salukis. Walt Frazier's team. No, Jim Hart's team. Southern Illinois on the last play of the game running across. I won't lose in the spring league. It's staggering. Montana State's got their number now. How the hell they won that game last night, double overtime? It blows my mind. Almost gave me another heart attack. I know, I'm doing good. So 8 weeks yesterday, so I talked to doctors at the hospital yesterday. I'm doing good, so think I'll be all right to flip the can, I asked him. What do you think, Evan? Oh, yeah. Talking about things that nobody cares. Wearing things that nobody wears. So, can we do it? Oh, yeah. Never thought you'd see that again. Neither did I. Right across the street, clinging to life. Open heart surgery. My Feldorf valve from the nuclear cartel. My dad nuked to death in the air, so I was born Uncle's office right there. The great, incredible Thomas Blanch. Saved me from the grave again. The heart surgeon, born with a heart murmur, birth defect. Kevin, kick the can as long as you can on that. Well, I got cancers, you know. I got AML and just ravished my body. So my valve went in 20. Speaking of, there's another one. Oh, God, don't even get me go. 2016. Joe Ball and boy Jeremy Sieglin, they'd go make the tournament and get wiped out by Xavier. That should have been a Sweet 16 team. They've had dozens of teams should have been Sweet. Willard's team should have been a Sweet 16 his senior year. They lost to Montana up there. You know the last time the Big Sky won a tournament game on? 99 with Harold Arsenault, the show, and Eddie Gill. There's only been one since. I think Kristoviak was coaching Montana, and they got one in like 2004, somewhere around there. You know, I go that undefeated team, Cravens. By the way, you listen to Pluto TV or whatever. I mean, it's so bad. Cravens, oh God, those guys are bad. They didn't even know NAU. We were down there. They thought the game. They shot a shot to win the game and put it in overtime. But to be a Weber State fan, you don't know frustration. You know, to fight the nuclear energy crime syndicate, you don't know frustration. So, I can't believe they lost that game. I really can't. You know, so, same old, right? Well, we'll see. It's a young team. But, you know, they rode one horse the whole time. I mean, in this rodeo, there's 5 guys on the team. You got a bench. They all can score. It was basically Dylan Jones down the court, missed. And he's perfected that and one move. And the refs weren't giving it to him. They weren't calling it. Zaire Porter, who never missed a free throw last year, Montana State, was on the bench. Well, he was in this time. And, you know, that's one of the best free throw shooters in the country last year. Oh, he missed a free throw. Same old. I can't believe it. So, Fukushima coming up on Saturday. I was hoping to be at San Onofre. I don't know. We still got a couple days. So, I can't believe they lost that game. You know, NAU's in the championship. Don't be surprised if NAU wins. This is a team that won 10 games all season. But they got hot when it counts because this whole tournament that they play is a joke anyway. I've always hated it. I don't like it. You know, Eastern Washington did the same thing as Lower did in 2011-12. Undefeated, and then they lose at Idaho State, and then lose at Montana, and then lose the playoff. But they went out in the first round, Eastern, which I can't believe it. I mean, that was a nutty-ass game. That game last night was the ugliest basketball game. And like I said, I've been here since Sojourner and Thigpen, since Mata. You know, how good were those teams? But I remember I was at the last game in the Swenson, and Heathcote beat them. Beat them in like double, triple overtime. But we were paid them back all those years later in '95 with Nemhart, the great Ronna Begman. What a coach. They fired him for winning. We were upset him. Sean Resberg sent him packing. Should have had. That was definitely a sweet. I think they were possibly a Final Four team. They were that good. You know, so Weber State's legendary training part. And by the way, Lillard's trainer was not a trainer here. He was assistant coach. And Phil, don't even get me going on that. Don't even get. If you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say. So, same old. The Wattis curse is alive and well. I'm telling you, you don't want to believe me. It's a fucking curse. They've lost every big game in the history of the school. Football. And you think I'm kidding? I was at the game in the 60s on the football field. My old boss, Bruce Handley. Snowball's Chance and Hill, you know. And so, by the way, Jay Hill's gone. Randy Ray's gone, thank God. But Coaching decisions up there yesterday. I don't know. It's a young team, first-year coach. We'll see, but I don't know. Not good. Not good. The Wattis curse. Montana State. And Montana State goes into the tournament and just gets annihilated. You know, the NCAA tournament. It's pathetic how these teams perform. I know Danny personally. I used to go to the NCAA March Madness. He and I used to watch it together. I remember he and I were together watching that 2003 Weber State undefeated team. That was recruits for a Baglin. You know, Boyette. How good was he? But they had played Wisconsin early in the sprint in the pre-tournament in Hawaii and beat them. Then they drew them in the tournament, so they weren't sneaking up on Wisconsin, and Wisconsin was ready, and that was a hell of a team. But 2006 with the great David Payton, that was again. It's a Cravens recruit. Randy Ray first year. Ben Howland. You know, I was talking to Dave Patton about this the other day. I was at that game. You know, I flew with them. They were down like 30-3. That was at Arco. Yeah, Jeremy Lin, Jason Kidd. That was at Arco. Guess who? I mean, well, UCLA was so deep that Russell Westbrook came off the bench. Ben Howland, Weber State. You know, the greatest coach that should have been here was Guy Beach. Arsenal Gill. I got to tell this story. Arsenal, NBA scouts. Well, you got to do this, this, and this. Or you're going to play in the NBA, you know, after that. Scouts were all over him. What makes you think I want to play in the NBA? Because I don't. Joe Bass spit his coffee across the room. The NBA is a sports merchandising league. The best player who I ever see play in this house ever, that's Jerry Harding. You know, of course, he never played a tournament either. The Wattis curse. Let's flip the can one more time. Oh, wings, we will pretend. Fukushima, 12 years. Until you retire, Wat Masaka's number. Now, who's that? He's of Japanese descent, born and raised in Ogden, Utah, on 25th Street. 2 national championships. 2. He was a 5'7", had a jump hook. 2 national championships at Weber State, the downtown campus. First player of color in the history of the NBA. You see his number flying up there? Well, you see Phil Johnson's number flying up there? No way. Ask Mom McKay Brody. Ask Kevin Blanch. Getting better every day. What a freaking. Come back. Same old, same old. Oh, wings is all we hear all day, every day. The Wattis curse. The nuclear. Oh, it's alive and well. 12 years of Fukushima. Oh, that was Fukushima Day when Miller blew that lead? Yeah. It was March 10th here that night. The year before. Huh. It's that time of year, right? March Madness. Oh boy, the real March Madness. Fukushima. Stay tuned.